Filipinos are known for being hardworking, adaptable, and resilient, which is why they can thrive almost anywhere in the world. But not all countries are welcoming or safe for Filipinos. Some places have low wages, high crime rates, unfair labor laws, or even racism and abuse towards migrant workers. These countries may promise jobs, but what they don't tell you is the hidden dangers that can make life miserable for Filipinos abroad. Before you make that big move, watch this video until the end, because we're exposing the worst countries Filipinos should avoid at all costs. 1. Afghanistan, war, violence, and zero worker protections. Afghanistan has been through decades of war, and while some areas may seem peaceful now, the country remains one of the most dangerous places in the world. For Filipino workers, the risks are massive. First, there's extreme political instability. The Taliban now controls the country, and foreigners, especially those from Western allied nations like the Philippines, are not always welcomed. Kidnappings, bombings, and attacks are still common, making it a life-threatening place for OFWs. Second, the economy is collapsing, and companies that once hired Filipinos for security, healthcare, and construction work are shutting down. Many OFWs have been left jobless, stranded, or forced to leave without pay. Third, Afghanistan has no legal protections for foreign workers. If you face abuse, unpaid wages, or unfair treatment, there is no government system to protect you. If you're thinking about working in Afghanistan for a high salary, think twice. No amount of money is worth risking your life in one of the world's most unstable countries. Two. Syria, a country still in chaos. Syria was once a beautiful and historic country, but today, it's still recovering from years of brutal civil war. For Filipinos, moving to Syria is extremely dangerous. First, the country is still dealing with bombings, terrorist attacks, and violent clashes. The government may claim that it's safe now, but reports from international agencies show that Syria is far from stable. Second, the economy has completely collapsed. Most businesses have shut down, jobs are scarce, and the cost of living is skyrocketing. Even if you find work, getting paid regularly is a challenge. Many OFWs who were once employed in Syria have reported that their salaries were delayed or never paid at all. Worst of all, Filipino domestic workers in Syria have been victims of human trafficking, abuse, and exploitation. Many have been trapped in contracts they couldn't escape from, and the Philippine government has had to rescue hundreds of Filipinos from dangerous situations. If you're considering Syria for work, forget about it, it's not worth the risk. 3. North Korea, the most isolated country in the world. North Korea is one of the most secretive and isolated countries on the planet. For Filipinos, moving here is nearly impossible, but if you ever get an offer, run the other way. First, North Korea has no human rights. The government controls everything, your movements, your speech, even your thoughts. If you break any of their strict rules, you could face severe punishment, prison, or worse. Second, there is no freedom to communicate with the outside world. If you move to North Korea, you'll have no access to social media, no overseas phone calls, and no way to contact your family in the Philippines. Third, foreigners have extremely limited job opportunities. Some Filipinos have worked in North Korea under secret contracts, mostly in construction and factory work. but they face poor working conditions, delayed wages, and zero protection from abuse. Even if you are offered a high salary, North Korea is not a country you should risk your life for. 4. Saudi Arabia, high risk for domestic workers. Saudi Arabia has been one of the top destinations for OFWs for years, but while many Filipinos have found success, others have faced horrific abuse. The biggest risk in Saudi Arabia is for domestic workers. Many Filipino maids and caregivers have been overworked, underpaid, and even physically abused by their employers. Some have been locked inside homes, had their passports confiscated, or suffered extreme working conditions with no days off. Although Saudi Arabia has improved its labor laws in recent years, many employers still take advantage of foreign workers. Some OFWs have gone years without receiving their full salaries, while others have been unable to leave due to strict employment contracts. For those in professional industries, Saudi Arabia can offer good opportunities, but for low-wage workers, the risks are extremely high. If you plan to work here, be very careful about the job you choose. 5. Turkey, economic collapse and high crime rates. Turkey was once a great destination for foreign workers, but in recent years, its economy has completely crashed. Inflation is at an all-time high, and businesses are struggling to survive. For Filipinos, this means low wages, job insecurity, and a high cost of living. Many OFWs who once worked in Turkey have left because they couldn't afford to live there anymore. Another major problem in Turkey is crime and discrimination against migrant workers. Reports of racist attacks, scams, and theft targeting Filipinos and other Southeast Asians have increased. Some OFWs have been physically attacked in public, while others have had their wages stolen by employers who refuse to pay. If you're thinking of moving to Turkey, think twice. The economic situation is getting worse, and Filipinos are not always treated fairly. 6. Iran, a difficult environment for foreigners. Iran has strict government policies that make it difficult for foreigners, including Filipinos, to work or live comfortably. The country also faces ongoing economic sanctions, leading to inflation and job shortages. For foreign workers, this means limited opportunities and financial struggles. Additionally, political instability and restrictions on personal freedoms make Iran a challenging place to move to. Filipinos looking for a better life abroad should think twice before considering Iran. 7. Lebanon, economic collapse and instability. Lebanon was once a popular destination for OFWs, especially domestic workers. However, in recent years, the country has faced an economic collapse, making life extremely difficult for foreign workers. Many Filipinos in Lebanon have reported not receiving salaries for months, struggling with rising prices, and even being abandoned by employers. The Philippine government has even repatriated thousands of Filipinos from Lebanon due to these worsening conditions. If you're thinking about working in the Middle East, Lebanon is definitely not the best choice right now. 8. Russia, a tough place for immigrants. Russia is not a typical destination for Filipinos, and for good reason. The country has strict immigration laws, and working there without the right permits can result in immediate deportation. Language barriers also make it difficult for Filipinos to find good-paying jobs. Moreover, political tensions and economic instability make Russia an even riskier place to move to. it's best to look elsewhere for job opportunities. 9. China, limited rights for foreign workers. China has a booming economy, but for Filipinos looking to work there, opportunities are limited. Many jobs available to foreigners require high-level qualifications, and those who work without proper permits risk deportation. Additionally, labor rights in China are not as strong as in Western countries, meaning that foreign workers have little protection if they experience unfair treatment. With growing political tensions in the region, China is becoming an even more challenging place for Filipinos to move to. 10. South Korea, the visa nightmare. South Korea is a dream destination for many, thanks to K-pop, K-dramas, and its booming economy. However, for Filipinos looking to move there for work, it's a different story. The visa process is extremely strict, and job opportunities for foreigners outside the EPS, Employment Permit System, program are very limited. Many Filipinos who move to South Korea end up overstaying their visas, leading to crackdowns and deportations. While it's a great country to visit, living there long-term is a huge challenge. Outro. Filipinos deserve to work in countries where they are respected, protected, and paid fairly. But as we've seen, not every country offers that. Some places are too dangerous, some have failing economies, and others exploit Filipino workers without any protection. If you're planning to work abroad, do your research, check labor laws, and always make sure you're moving to a country where you'll be treated with dignity and respect. What do you think is the worst country for Filipinos to move to? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more eye-opening content.